Beneath the surface of every living thing, from the tiniest microbe to the beating human heart, there lies a silent language, 4 letters whispering the story of life itself. A, T, C, and G. Mere symbols on a page, yet together they compose symphonies of existence. They hum within every cell, orchestrating the rise of forests, the flutter of wings, and the breath that escapes your lungs. If you could listen closely enough, you might hear it. The rhythm of inheritance, the poetry of evolution, the echo of ancestors long gone. DNA does not speak in words or sound. It speaks in code, one that builds bodies, memories, and destinies. It remembers, it records, it defines. But what is this mysterious molecule that carries the blueprint of life? And how does it turn chemistry into consciousness?
DNA. 3 simple letters that hold the story of everything that lives, breathes, and grows. It exists inside nearly every cell of every living being on Earth, a molecular archive billions of years in the making. From the smallest bacterium floating in an ancient sea to the vast complexity of the human brain, every living organism shares this same remarkable language. Discovered less than a century ago, the structure of DNA revealed something extraordinary, that life is not random, but written. Every human, every plant, every creature carries a version of the same biological script, a story that began in the deep past and continues to write itself with every new generation. Though we share over 99% of our DNA with one another, it is that tiny remaining fraction, less than 1%, that makes each of us unique. Our faces, our talents, even our vulnerabilities. To understand DNA is to understand ourselves, our origins, our kinship with all life, and the delicate balance that binds every living thing to the same eternal code.
Long before the first humans, before animals or plants, before even the air we breathe, the earth was silent. Yet within its restless oceans, chemistry began to dream of life. Simple molecules collided and merged, forming chains that could copy themselves, the earliest whispers of DNA's ancestors. Scientists believe that around 3.5 to 4 billion years ago, something extraordinary happened. A molecule emerged that could both store information and replicate it. That molecule was the first ancestor of what we now call deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. Imagine a time capsule, not made of stone or metal, but of atoms, passed from one cell to another, one life to the next. Each replication carried small changes, mutations, and from those tiny errors, diversity blossomed. Over countless generations, this genetic thread wove itself through every living thing: the first single-celled organisms, the rise of plants, the birth of animals, and eventually humanity itself. Our DNA is a living fossil, a microscopic scroll inscribed with 4 letters, preserving the entire history of life on Earth.
As life expanded and evolved, DNA became the silent witness to history. Every mass extinction, every migration, every adaptation left its trace in the code. From the ice ages that sculpted our ancestors' resilience to the migrations that spread humanity across continents, our genome bears the footprints of survival. Tens of thousands of years ago, as early humans wandered from Africa into new lands, small genetic differences began to emerge, shaped by sunlight, diet, climate, and chance. Some of us developed lighter skin to capture more sunlight in colder regions. Others retained darker pigmentation to protect against the equatorial blaze. In the high plateaus of Tibet, genes evolved to use oxygen more efficiently. In Arctic peoples, DNA adapted to high-fat diets from the sea. These weren't choices, they were the silent edits of nature, written across millennia. When empires rose and fell, when populations mixed through trade or conquest, the genome recorded it all. Not as history books do, in battles and names, but in base pairs and sequences. DNA, in its quiet way, has always been history's most faithful historian.
Within that double helix lies the reason for every living difference, the shades of eyes, the shapes of faces, the rhythms of hearts. Each gene is a line of code, a recipe for a single part of life's grand design. For example, a single gene determines whether your blood type is A, B, AB, or O, a decision made long before your birth. Another gene influences how your body digests lactose, explaining why some people can drink milk throughout life while others cannot. Tiny variations in DNA sequences, called single nucleotide polymorphisms, or SNPs, define our individuality. Incredibly, humans and chimpanzees share about 98.8% of their DNA. The difference, just over 1%, creates the chasm between us and every other species. That small fraction shapes intelligence, language, and creativity, the spark that turned primates into poets. Our DNA is a red thread woven through the tapestry of existence, connecting all life, yet uniquely painting each of us in the colors of individuality.
But DNA is more than chemistry. It's memory, an unbroken chain linking every person who has ever lived. Your eyes may mirror a grandparent's. Your heartbeat may echo an ancestor's rhythm. Within your body flows a legacy of survival, love, and adaptation that stretches back to the dawn of time. In cultures across the world, we tell stories of origin, creation myths, ancestral spirits, and sacred lineages. Modern genetics doesn't erase those stories, it deepens them. It shows that all humans share a common mother, mitochondrial Eve, who lived in Africa around 150,000 years ago. From her descendants came every language, every nation, every song ever sung. The past walks with us, coded in our cells. Every time a child is born, that ancient story begins again, slightly rewritten, but never forgotten. DNA reminds us that identity is layered, that we are both individuals and collective, a single species woven from billions of microscopic threads of shared memory.
So what is DNA? It is life's language, both fragile and eternal, microscopic yet vast enough to hold the entire story of existence. It's a library without shelves, a map without borders, a song that has never stopped playing. From the first spark in primordial seas to the beating hearts of modern humanity, DNA has carried one unbroken message: life endures. Every strand inside you is a letter in that message, proof that you are part of something ancient, intricate, and astonishing. So next time you look at your reflection, remember, you're not just seeing you. You're seeing the living echo of billions of years of evolution, the blueprint of life written in 4 simple letters. What part of that story surprised you most? Share your thoughts in the comments and join us as we continue decoding the science that shapes who we are. Subscribe to Decode, where science meets simplicity and life's mysteries become clear.